Hello, welcome back to Where We Knit, or welcome to Where We Knit. My name is Kristen and I'm coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And this is my little corner of the interwebs where I share with you all of my making, all of my sewing, things that I'm excited about, and my favorite things is at the very end. Now today's podcast is taking a little bit of a different format. Today, I am doing a shout out to a local artist because I think it's really important that we think about shouting out from the rooftops these people who are taking the time and energy to make the most amazing yarn and fiber for us. I think it's really hard for these local artists to market their products. There's so many people that make such beautiful yarn that none of us have even heard of before. And so about once a month, I'm going to do a series called The Artist Spotlight. So without further ado, I am going to shout out a local artist, but I also am going to share with you some of my WIPs. I have one finished object today. And some things I'm really excited about in the knitting world. And at the very end, I will share 3 of my favorite things. Now, one little side note about my favorite things, because I want to make it very clear that I know there's a lot of podcasters out there who are making money off of different companies, and I think that's fantastic. Right now in my current format, I'm not doing that. I don't have affiliate links. I don't have discount codes. I'm just literally excited about sharing my favorite things with you, the viewers. And if you hate it, if you think I'm trying to sell you my favorite hair care product or a safe for your kid's dorm room, turn it off. Turn it off. I do it at the very end. But it could be a recipe, it could be a favorite lip gloss, it could be a feeling, it could be my favorite book. You never know, but it's always 3 favorite things. So let's get started. I want to talk to you about Orchard Acres Textiles. And this is a yarn dyer out of Rochester, Minnesota, which is south of the Twin Cities where I live. And I learned about Orchard Acres Textiles through the owners. I'm filming here in my local yarn store. I work here. I teach classes for them. But I learned about this yarn and this artist through Tiff and Laura, who own this shop, Dandelion Fiber Company, located in South Minneapolis. And I had the privilege of also meeting her a couple weeks ago at Keepsake Cidery, it was south of here, and they were having a little fiber fest, and Rebecca was there. Rebecca Diwan is the artist behind Orchard Acres Textiles. And I have to say that kind of slow because it's sort of a mouthful, but her yarn is so beautiful. Now, mind you, I haven't experienced all of it. I haven't knit with it yet, but I'm really excited to spotlight her. If you see me kind of looking down and over, I have some amazing notes that she sent to me that I want to make sure I don't mess up. So I mentioned before, Rebecca is located in Rochester, Minnesota. All of her yarn and information about her farm is on her website, which will be in the show notes. I will put some pictures up here while I'm talking about her farm and her yarn. And I also will show you some because I got a whole basket of it here because we carry it here at Dandelion Fiber. I feel really lucky that it's at my local yarn store. She does not do wholesale accounts very often. And I think we feel pretty privileged that we can carry that yarn here. She also has fiber. So let's talk about Rebecca. Rebecca started her farm in 2020. She got sheep in 2021 once they got fencing. She has Teeswater sheep and cashmere goats. Teeswater sheep is something I've never heard of Teeswater sheep before. Here's a picture of their locks. They're known for their sheen and their long curly locks that take her natural dyeing like beautifully. So Rebecca is a complete natural dyer. She gets a lot of her items that she needs for natural dyeing from her dad in Ohio, from places far away, but also from her own farm. And the interesting thing to learn about when it comes to Teeswater sheep, the sheep that she has at her on her farm, is that she has 14, but they are right now on the natural conservatory list. And Rebecca is incredibly passionate about the longevity of these sheep being around. She's on the board of directors to help save these sheep and for the American Teeswater Sheep Association. And they have amazing fiber. And so I love that she's so passionate. Her artist statement too, it's worth clicking my show notes and reading about it. You can hear the passion in her voice as she writes her artist statement. And I think it's just really cool. I'm really intrigued by her. I got to talk to her a little bit at this Fiber Fest, and then Tiff and Laura now have some of her yarn here that I'm so jazzed to work with. She also has a U.S. based a base that she sources here in the U.S., 100% U.S., and that is what we carry here in the store, and that is a DK and a lace weight. It comes in 2 different weights, and it's 70% alpaca, 20% silk, 10% cashmere. Okay, I'm gonna grab this stuff. You gotta see it. All right, are you ready? You can tell it's naturally dyed because the uniqueness of the skeins are just, in particular, something I really look for in a naturally dyed yarn. And so, like, you guys, check this out. So this is her lace weight. This is her DK base, okay? Like this one, this indigo. I believe she got this indigo blue from her dad, which I know is really, really hard to get and to grow. Like some of these colors, you guys, look at this lace weight. So the other thing I wanted to say about this lace weight, it's like butter. It feels so soft. You get a very generous amount. Now, mind you, it is lace weight. So you can substitute it for if you're not into using Surrey alpaca or don't want much of a halo. This is less of a halo than mohair. But these colors, like I can't, one color is, this is a purple gray. So you can see that it appears like this podcast is not doing this justice, obviously, because of the coloring, but this is it's gray, but it's also purple. Like this is the one that I'm going to choose. Like I just love it. So this yarn, you have to check out this yarn. I want to tell you a little bit more about her fiber. It's just one of a kind. I wrote all these notes. Let's see. Oh, there's a sculpture artist who used her yarn for a sculpture that's available that you can see in the Rochester Arts Center right now. There's an installation there, and it's someone from the University of Minnesota that has created this art installation, and I'm going to put a picture of it here, how they used it. It's just beautiful. So not only is her yarn used to make garments and such, but it's also used in true art form through the sculpture from the sculpture artist in Rochester, Minnesota. So most of the time, Rebecca sells her yarn at markets. On November 9th, I'm gonna put up a little piece right here. If you're in the area, you might wanna hit on November 9th. Rebecca is putting together this amazing little yarn festival, tiny little, where fiber artists are coming. There's demonstrations. People will have fiber for spinning. And so check this out. You can also check it out on our website, but it's November 9th in Rochester in this cute little building. I'm going for sure. I want to check out more local yarn dyers. Check out Orchard Acres Textiles. You will not be sorry. It is so beautiful. It is a luxury yarn. And I think we feel really happy and special that we can carry two of her yarns here at the store at Dandelion Fiber Company. So thank you, Rebecca, for sending me those amazing photos. She puts a little cashmere when she has it in her fiber. So if you are a spinner, check out her fiber. Right now, she doesn't have anything available, probably getting ready for that November 9th little festival that she's putting on. So using Rebecca's DK of the 70-20-10, 70% alpaca, 20% silk, 10% cashmere, Laura made this this is like a one skein wonder. It's this cute little neck scarf that I love so much by Sari Nordland. I cannot pronounce, it's in her book. So it's Softly Timeless Knits by Sari Nordland. And she has this scarf. And the pattern is obviously in this book. It's so cute. You can wear it tons of different ways. Lara knit it. It made me decide that yes, I need this for a garment. Like I need it for a sweater. But also like what a beautiful, I'm thinking a lot about holiday. You're gonna see that gift giving come up here a lot in the weeks to come. But look at this sweet little scarf. I gotta show you just the intricacies of the little cables. It's really beautiful. And even the back, like look at the back. You could wear it either way, reversible. It's so cute. So Lara knit this up as a sample for here in the store. Check this yarn out. It's amazing. Can't say enough about it. Let's move on to talking a little bit about what I have on the needles. I have a lot. Today is 30 days until I go to Sacred Sheep. That's one of the things I'm really excited about. Sacred Sheep is a yarn festival coming up in Portland, Oregon, where I'm going with a handful of pals. And I have some things I need to finish. I didn't bring one because I haven't done a ton on it. Actually, I didn't bring two of them. But I have a lot of knitting to do. And am I going to get it done? I might be a little overzealous. If I don't get it done, I'll wear something that I have in my closet, whatever, it's fine. But I do like to have a good deadline. And this is that Kettle Cove. It was in the Lina Winter magazine from last year. I'm coming along on this vest. I'm here. I've split for sleeves. Here's the back. And this is the front. And I love it. Except for it's really challenging for me to do color work, a knitting flat. Wow. Doing it on the purl side is really hard for me. I can see that through the floats, which I won't show you because why shout out all of my mess and mistakes? But I love how this is knitting up. I can't wait to wear it with a t-shirt or a white button down. I don't have far to go, and this is knit in worsted, although I'm holding fingering double. But I love the pattern. I love how it's turning out. It's a little puckery. I think it's gonna go away when I block it. But this is one of the garments that I have as a WIP. Another WIP that I have is I did something called a Dickie Along. I might have mentioned it in a former episode, but the Dickie Along, I'm gonna feature that in my next episode, I think. Don't hold me to that. But I want to, this Wednesday is our last session of the Dickie Along. Our knit-alongs here in the store are super fun. We take 15 people, we just come together and all knit either one project or one themed project. And this time it was on Wednesdays. We've been meeting for a couple Wednesdays this month in September from 6 to 8. If you want to know more about the classes that I offer here at Dandelion Fiber, please sign up for their newsletter. Classes fill up quickly. We don't offer a ton, although we are meeting in the next week or so to kind of go over and forecast what we're going to be offering here in the next few months before winter. I'm really excited about the Dickie that I chose. I chose the Coffee Run collar. I think I mentioned this to you. I'm knitting it and knitting for Olive Merino and their silk mohair. I love their mohair. And it's so cute and it's such a quick knit. This is going to be a holiday gift that I will do. I'm on the last repeat down here. Then I just have to do 3 inches of the ribbing and do a bind off. You can see I already started. I didn't know, and I still don't know how tall I want the collar to go. She has hers like this. This is kind of like a slouchy. You can knit it longer to fold over. I don't know if I want that much bulk. So I'm playing around with the length of the collar, but didn't this knit up just beautifully? It's not blacked yet, but it just slips over and then it's just here, like probably to your waist. It's so cute. And it looks like you're wearing a sweater when you have a jacket on, but you're not, because there's no sleeves, so that's why it goes so quickly. But it's a beautifully written pattern. I've never knit anything from Samantha Guerin before, but I certainly am gonna check out her the rest of her patterns. And then last but not least is my traveler shawl. That was one of the things that was on my needles forever. I'm sure you can relate. I have so many projects on the needles right now. But I'm not stressed about it. Whatever I get done, I get done. But man, am I excited about casting on a couple other fun things too, that I won't mention in this episode. But here it is in all of its glory. I did the smaller one. The specs are almost true to size. It looks like it's hand spun, but it's not. I used yarn from Yarn Hero. Yarn Hero is a company, an online shop where you can get a lot of this variegated type yarn that's used in a lot of projects. I think they have really affordable, beautiful, non-superwash yarn. And I've had this in my stash for a really long time and I have a lot left over still. So I'm either going to knit the traveler's cowl, or I might do a couple hats for some friends for Christmas. So that is my traveler's shawl. I love it. I mean, I get just with the gray and the variation of it, I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of use out of it. Gray and black kind of, for me, go with anything, and I really love it. So I'm really happy that I got it finished and off the needles. What else? So I'm excited for Sacred Sheep. I'm really excited to go to this November 9th festival in Rochester with Rebecca and some of her pals and farmers in that area. And I'm just really excited to start doing this artist spotlight series. I'm not even going to preview and tell you who I'm going to do next, but I do have a garment made out of her yarn in particular. And so I'm really also excited about a little series that I'm going to do called Knitting Small. I do smaller projects, things like socks, but I use magic loop most of the time, but I also use double pointed needles. And I recently just finished something for a friend who I saw it on somebody else's podcast. I think Tangerine Knits or something. Anyway, and all of a sudden I got into knitting these little tiny things, which is really not generally my style of knitting and things that I do. But I also just bought a box, like a curated box, from Susan B. Anderson with Barrett Wool Company, which I'm not going to go into that because I will do like an unboxing for that. And so I'm really excited about knitting small is what I'll call it. I kind of hate when people do that, so I don't know why I did that, but anyway. And then the last thing is, let's move on to favorite things. This is a little bit of a shorter episode. I felt like my last one was really long. Just a little side note though, I want you to know I'm not trying to sell you these things. Nope, not getting a kickback, nothing. The links will be in my show notes, and actually 2 of the links I did not put in there. I just said, please go find these at your local yarn store or your local bookstore, because I want to shout out local yarn stores and bookstores rather than just picking everything up on Amazon. Yeah, I'm guilty of getting things on Amazon. It's convenient for certain, but when I can find things for the exact same price at my local yarn store, I'm going to shout them out. One of my favorite things, now you know that if you've been watching the last 10 episodes, I don't always relate my favorite things to knitting. This is the Carbons set. Obviously I'm using that one for something, but these Carbons double pointed needles, Carbons with a K and ending with a Z. These carbon needles, they're the bomb. I think that I love their little pointy tips. I think those are fantastic. I love that. I think they come in everything from, this kit comes in sizes, sorry, I should have had this written down before, 0 to US size 3. So I use them a lot. I use them to fix mistakes. I use them for socks. I use them for any small circumference knitting that I'm not using the magic loop. But I am pulling these out often. And so these Carbons, I love them. So if you are into using double pointed needles, you don't do the magic loop technique or you don't know about it, this is really a fantastic set that you can get online. Or with your local yarn store. Now, if you notice that your local yarn store doesn't carry this set, I'm pretty sure that most local yarn stores can find them and order them for you, and you can pick it up from them. So just a shout out to Carbons, their set of double pointed needles. The next thing that is a favorite thing is a book that I just listened to. I didn't read it, although I could have, because it's a young adult, or it's not even a YA book. It's for little kids. And yes, some of you are like, why would I read a kid's book or listen to a kid's book? Because it's a kid's book, but it's so relatable for adults. The title of the book is called Tree Book Table. And I'm going to put a little picture of it right here. It is such a beautiful book. If you're a crier, you're going to cry. My friend Kristen, who's a children's librarian, told me about it, and I immediately got it through the Livy app on my phone and listened to it back and forth on the way to work. It's about a 9-year-old girl who has a neighbor. They both have the same name. Their name is Sophie. And young Sophie tries to save older Sophie from aging. Older Sophie gets dementia, and I'm not going to tell you everything, but young Sophie, 9-year-old Sophie, tries to help older Sophie with her memory and her memory loss, and is so beautifully written. And, for those of us who have aging parents, I think it's such a beautiful look at aging. It's such a beautiful look at multi-generational caregiving, not necessarily caregiving, but, these two and the friendship that they created and what they learned from one another and their stories about life is just It's beautiful. So I highly recommend it. It's written for 9 to 11-year-olds. I don't want to insult you and tell you that you should read a book for 9 to 11-year-olds, but I think that the content is such a beautifully written story that it's just quick if you need something to listen to on a car ride or on your way to work on the subway or in your car. It's beautiful. So check it out. It's by Lois Lowry. And the last thing is one of my favorite places to visit here in the Twin Cities for coffee and a croissant. I do love myself a good, just beautifully flaky, buttery croissant and a good coffee. And I don't treat myself to it often, but Patisserie 46, I'll put a picture of them right here, and a coffee and croissant. Patisserie 46, I feel lucky. It's in my local neighborhood. I could walk there. And it's just a really great coffee shop in a little South Minneapolis neighborhood. So if you're coming to the Twin Cities, it's not far from downtown. It's not far from the uptown area. I highly recommend it. So that's all I have for you today. I do also want to mention one quick thing. I'm noticing people making comments. 90% of them are so lovely, and I'm so grateful that you are giving me the grace and you are taking the time out of your busy lives to watch the content that I create here on YouTube. I'm doing this for fun. I'm not super techie. I'm human. I make mistakes. I say some things that are wrong, and I try to come back and say, oops, I made a mistake. This is not about this book, this author. I made a mistake. I'm going to shout her out the right way. I will always come back and try to repair mistakes that I have made on these videos. But when people start making comments about how many times that I clear my throat, I'm trying to edit all of that out. And by the way, the reason that I had such a scratchy throat a few weeks ago, and there were tons of me clearing my throat, so sorry. You guys, if it bugs you, turn it off. Like, don't watch it. I'm not making you watch my videos. I sure love your comments and the beautiful grace you've given me in the last 11 episodes. I've kind of met some amazing people that I continue to, correspond with outside of the YouTube channel. But I had really bad allergies that day. And I also think I was suffering from an allergic reaction to a coffee creamer that I tried. Just asking, be kind. I don't mind a constructive criticism. I welcome you saying, hey, what about you do this? Or what about you do this differently? Or have you ever tried this? Or, just simple little oops, I think you made a mistake about this author. She's not from California. She's from Canada. Check her out here. I'm happy. I welcome your comments and your constructive criticism. But the key piece about that is constructive. Like, I talked about Rhinebeck last week, and people are bantering back and forth to one another about the comments that Rhinebeck is not a city, it's a town. Okay, thanks for sharing. The little comments like that, and then people are going back and forth about, why are you doing that? You're being mean. And I want this to be a place of enjoyment. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to subscribe. But if you do like it, subscribe. I do it once every 2 weeks. And I don't know, that's my soapbox on being kind to people who are putting content out there. I'm not making any money doing this. I'm doing it for fun. Because I truly enjoy so many other people's podcasts. Hey, one other thing I forgot. I forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing Andrea Mowry's Weekender Light It is perfect for this weather in Minneapolis. We are having a very, very warm fall. I'm not gonna complain. Like, it's been in the high 80s, but in the mornings it's a little bit cool. I love this sweater. I never thought I would knit a fingering weight sweater, but I did, and I love it. I knit it out of, and the cool thing about this sweater is that you knit it inside out, so the pearls is showing in the front, and then you do the sleeves like normally stockinette. So, you know, the different variation of the yarn that you get, like this is almost kind of striped. I love it. It's made out of Magpie Fibers Swanky Sock. I love it. It has a little bit of cashmere in it. It's superwash. I don't usually use superwash, but there's a time and a place for superwash, and I'm telling you, this is like, I love it. It's one of my favorite sweaters, and it's really old, so if you look up close, you can probably see lots of pilling on it, which it's superwash, doesn't usually pill, but I wear it a lot. So I pulled this out today. I'm gonna be ripping it off real soon because I'm so incredibly warm in it, because it's probably already 70 degrees here in Minneapolis. Anyway, too much banter. Can't wait to see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you loved the content that you saw, please hit subscribe and the thumbs up button. It helps my channel. And see you next time. Happy knitting. Goodbye.